So thank you all for being here on Zoom. There are several waiting for us to get started here. Sorry for the delay. So this is our third session, and today we're focusing on paperwork and processes. And so we have a panel of folks to help us think through that work. With us today, we have Amy Aldridge, who is our Vice Provost for Academic Affairs. We have Miss Mitzi Brandon, who is our Director of Catalog and Curriculum Management. Tyler Henson, so Registrar and Vice Provost, Assistant Vice Provost for Registration.
I don't know. I
don't even know where to wait.
Where am I waiting?
Yeah. And then Trey Martindale, who's our Associate Vice Provost for Online Learning.
Trey's gonna throw it.
Yeah. So thank you all for being here. Certainly, if there's other information you want to share with the folks to let them know your role in submission of curriculum, paperwork, and processes, that'd be helpful. So thanks. We'll let y'all take it away.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. We've been giving these talks a lot. So if you've seen us for a second or third time, then good for you. I hope you're really learning the material. So the thing that I'm responsible for primarily when it comes to new degree programs is I will be involved if you're creating a new degree program. I'll be very involved. I kind of see myself as a coach when you go through that experience. So that for sure will involve me. And then sometimes the elevation of a concentration to a major, because the paperwork's a little more extensive on that one than other catalog changes and curriculum changes. That's another one that also goes to the state. That's some paperwork that actually goes to the state. So I'm often involved with those. Sometimes those even get loaded into curriculum. But with new degree programs, I'm definitely involved before it gets loaded into curriculum, because there's so many steps and so many things that can change in your proposal that we actually don't load those into curriculum until pretty late in the process. The thing I always ask people when they come to me about starting a new degree program is why? Why do you want to develop this program? Because as you can imagine, there's some bad reasons. The reason, one of the worst is, well, we have expertise in this area. Okay. Do we have students out there who want full degrees in this area? Are we gonna be able to attract new students, right? So these are things we think about when we build these out. Are there job opportunities in the region? Because we know most of our students stay right here in Middle Tennessee. It's something like 70 to 80% of the people who graduate from MTSU stay within 100 miles of us. So we would want to make sure those opportunities exist. So it's really important that you're strategic as you're building out new degree programs, and think about the reasons why you want to do it. And here are some things, to think through as you're thinking about how to be strategic. The fact that our audiences are both internal and external. I think we've done a really good job internally with our audiences, but really taking that turn externally, I think, is really important right now. We're doing a better job of that all the time. Something I've really been encouraging departments and schools to do is to build out boards. Build out boards that can advise you. So industry boards, or an alumni board, or a combination of the two. I think every college at this point has some sort of board, but I really encourage you to think about building that out at the department or school level. I could give you a lot of examples of how this has really paid off for people, but one I'll give is I've been working with a group on 90 credit hour degrees, and if this is something we're going to build out at MTSU. And just for your information, SAC-COC just released some new policies around that. If you're interested, just email me and I'll be happy to send that to you. But when I was meeting with a working group, I looked at Tom Nicholas, who's over concrete construction management, the school director, and I said, what's your industry think about these? And he said, I don't know, but I can find out within a few days. And sure enough, he was able to survey 200 people within a few days because of his industry and alumni network in that board that's been in existence for a really long time. So I just want to encourage you to do that. It's really important that you watch your assessment measures and that you're updating your curriculum related to assessment. What is it that your students need to know? Are they learning it? Thinking through that, do you need to, do you need a new degree program? Do you need to change the one you have, right? All those things to be taken into consideration. And then the thing that I'm paid to do, and I would encourage you to do too, is pay attention to trends in higher education. So I get a daily digest from the Chronicle, but Inside Higher Ed is where I spend a lot of my time. They do a really nice job, especially when it comes to the sort of students we're serving. The Chronicle can sometimes be a little more elitist, but the Inside Higher Ed tends to think more about regional comprehensives like ours, right? So I appreciate that from them. I want to point you to some handouts that have been made available to you. The people online have these.
Yep, they do right now.
Okay, Jennifer's just put those in the box for you. So there's a couple of handouts, but the handouts you have are these little bubbles that show you the order in which to do things for a new degree program. So you can see it's a little complicated. This other handout with a little talking box on it, these are all the things you need to do when you're first thinking about building out a degree program. So these are the questions you need to take. If you're not a department chair, take it to your department chair and have these conversations with them. You also need to make sure your dean's office is on board. Most time that's an associate dean you need to work with, but sometimes the dean, him or herself, wants to be involved as well. Just make sure you're all on the same page before you spend too much time writing out your proposal. And then finally, the handout that has the THEC logo on the top of it, this can give you heart palpitations, but what it does is it spells out the LON, which is the letter notification, which is the first part of the process, and the new academic program proposal, which is the second part of the process, and walks you all the way through it. For those of you who are people who are like, I need to know every step before I get started on something, this is for you. If you're one of those people who's like, I need to just take this one day at a time, then you probably don't want to read through this because it can be pretty intimidating. But these 3 documents can really help you get started and know what's expected. But please know you're not going at this alone. I mean, I will definitely help you with a new degree program. And that's where I spend most of my time in curriculum, is working on with people on new degree programs. But Mitzi and Tyler and Trey are also there to help along the way as well. So back to the slides. What you're looking at here is the academic program inventory, which you'll often hear referred to as the API. And that QR code will take you to it live if you'd like to look at it. I love the API.
Who doesn't love the API?
I know, an API, I find very helpful, but I can tell you it's one of the first things I do when you come to me with a new degree program, or even if you come to me, telling me that you want to change the name of a degree program. I'm going to get on here. I'm going to look. I'm going to see, what are other people calling this degree program? Do they have this degree program? What zip code are they using? Because for the most part, we need to stay within the accepted things around zip codes and naming conventions and that sort of thing. But also, if I look on here and see there's already 25 of those degrees in the state, well, maybe, probably not that many, but if every LGI has already got one of these, I'm probably going to say, are you sure there's still students out there who aren't being served in Tennessee? Because unless it's an industry in which they're really hurting for employees, and we know it's because of lack of supply, then we're probably not going to pursue that. All right. So anyway, I just wanted you to see this degree inventory or the program inventory, because I often send people here. And then this slide just has really just more of a breakdown of the information I was showing you from the handouts. So I think I'm going to pause there. I think what we'll do is go on to Trey, and then we'll hold questions for the end. Yeah, let me see. Can we get Trey? Oh, there's Trey. Okay.
Most important thing is they see the
Yes.
slide, not just start reading, so.
Oh, you only
Okay,
have the
it's
one
just
slide.
that one
Okay,
slide,
we move you on then.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you, Amy, and well, all of you, because I think you've done a lot of work to make this as smooth as possible. And I'm looking particularly at Mitzi, who's helped me a lot with helping the online program proposal help be as smooth as possible. So the short version of this is, if you want to propose a fully online program, no one here should be surprised. That's my take-home message, is to make sure that Amy knows, and if it's a graduate program, make sure that Rasha Al-Qadiri knows. And we have a couple of web links that you'll see on this slide that we'll share with you. And essentially, there's just one differentiation point, and that is this a program that's brand new, or has it been offered on ground previously? So there are two different sets of steps depending on if it was a brand new program or if it had been previously offered online. And I do not want to frighten you. There's a list of 13 steps, but you don't have to do all of those. Most of those are for us to figure out how we route this proposal through the curriculum process. So just want to don't want to scare you. It's not that hard. We're going to help you all along the way. There is a online proposal form that is literally just one page. And the way this works is essentially you're verifying to me that you have the courses developed as online courses to offer in this program, and that you have a reliable schedule that these courses will be offered. Because as you all know, it's not enough to say, well, we actually have these courses developed. We want to make sure they're offered in a timely manner so that a student can complete their degree without having to wait for online courses to be offered in a given term. So it really is a fairly simple process. And again, please don't be frightened when you look at the steps there. But if you go to this link, and the way you get to it is go to the online website, mtsu.edu/online. And then there's a big menu item that says for faculty. Everything that's for faculty is under that menu, including how to propose a course and then how to propose a fully online program. And that's where you'll find this slide here. So essentially that's it. We'll help you once you've expressed interest and you've let Amy know and let Rasha know if it's a grad program. We're going to help you along the way to develop that program.
And I'll just say, if you're building out a new degree program, especially if it's on the grad side, a master's degree, which is really where we've been putting a lot of focus in the last couple of years, the winning formula for the most part is a 30-hour degree, non-thesis online. Those are the degrees that have really taken off for us. So that's probably what I'm going to say to you initially is, can this be done? And David Butler will say it to you too, and Rasha, can this be done in 30 hours online non-thesis? If not, that doesn't mean you can't pursue it. We want you to pursue what's right for your curriculum. But that will be a first question. And then once that, if we do decide you're going online, you'll need to go see Trey pretty quickly, so we make sure your classes are getting approved and looked at and all those sorts of things. And
just that's a really good insight. And just a thank you to David and to Rasha. They're leveraging our relationship with Hanover to help us get data about the market opportunity and availability for different online degrees. So I have that information. I'd be glad to share that with you. We'll share that with the department chairs. But if you're wondering, we probably have data about the viability of your online program in terms of who we're competing with in terms of within the region and in Tennessee. And then also where there are holes, where there are gaps, hey, we might offer this particular program because no one's doing it. So we have that kind of information as well.
All right, so you've talked to Amy, you've talked to Trey, you've decided you're ready to proceed. So this is where we get into the nuts and bolts. You come to curriculum, which is formerly curriculum, which I still refer to as curriculum. Robin, you want to show them that? We offer training for curriculum at any time that you need it. Paula Callahan does a really good job with that. And we were going to show you a brief, so if you go to proposals, Robin, and then proposals, I wanted to show them the forms. So you can see this is just kind of an overview. And then if you click on new proposal, you can see all the forms that we have available. We have program change forms, new program forms, new courses, course changes, course discontinuations, prerequisite changes. And one of the new forms that we're working on with Trey is the I don't know if you can see the C for CBHS only. So this is to propose an online course. And College of Behavioral and Health Sciences has been our guinea pig this year. And I think we're going to roll this out to all the colleges once we get catalogs finished, if we get them finished. But anyway.
When?
You can tell that
And great
catalog
job,
season-
Mitzi, for working on this. Let's
It
get that on
is.
the recording.
It is catalog season.
It is catalog season, and we're up to our eyeballs in it, so it's kind of on my mind. But just want to let you know that this probably will be coming for the next iteration of online courses, and it seems to have worked pretty well. We're working with Carol for some reporting things that she needs, but other than that, I think it's been a good thing. So anyway, if you are thinking that you're gonna, take today's session and hop on and make changes, you're too late. Let me just get to it. The deadline, we're well past the deadline. We're sending out proofs for the catalog. You might get a new course in the 26-27 catalog, but everything else has already been approved. Amy's working to send it to THAC, and we're making all sorts of changes to the catalogs, and Tyler and his group to Banner. So be thinking about next year. Be thinking about 27, 28. One of the things that we're going to do a little different this year, and I don't know how many department chairs are on here, we're going to later this summer or later this year send out the courses with all of the changes that shows the prereqs, the contact hours, the repeats, that type of thing. It's a little bit different from what we normally do, but I'm going to try this so people maybe can get ahead of what they're looking at and what they might need to do for 27, 28. So just a little change there. There we go. It's initial review. So once you have put your course or program or whatever into curriculum, it'll come to initial review. That's myself, Paula, and then Tyler and his group. We meet twice a week to look at these proposals. And we're not there to approve or disapprove your proposal. We're there to make sure that it's technically correct. It can be done. We review for program hours. We review for accreditation. We're looking for hidden courses. And one of the things we really worked on this year is hidden prerequisites. Those are a surprise sometimes. So then we try to make sure that it's transfer friendly. So we're looking for program restrictions and any roadblocks that may keep a student from graduating in a timely manner. So. I consider courses the building blocks for all programs. So you need to be intentional when you're approving a new course. Just because you think it might be good may not be the right reason. But is there any duplication? We're having some course duplication across campus, and we try to get in front of that and take care of it before that happens. You can search the catalog. Just go to the catalog.mtsu.edu, put in your course name, and see how many pops up. We had that this morning in our initial review. So look for similar titles. Course changes are not always simple. Sometimes you may think, oh, I'll just discontinue this course, but it may affect another program somewhere along the line. So it's always good to look at that. Prerequisites. We've been hitting pretty hard on prerequisites and restrictions. Lots of people, when Tyler did his curriculum stress test, there were some prerequisites that people didn't even know were on the courses. They had been there for years. And you don't really know about it or think about it until there's a problem. So, and that's when that arises. So look at your prerequisites. It doesn't really need a prerequisite. Can a student take it without having one? Or can a student move forward in their courses without having a prerequisite on it? So be intentional about those. Don't just make changes to those just because you think it's a good idea. And those are also on the summer catalog schedule. So we only make prerequisite changes once a year. That's in conjunction with the catalog schedule as well. Here's a few helpful websites. The handouts that Amy held up earlier are on the Academic Program Development website. There's the Undergraduate Curriculum Committee, Graduate Council, and then catalogs. So you can find both graduate and undergraduate catalogs at that link. And then if you're ready to start thinking about the coming 27-28 catalog, deadline will be January sometime of 27. So start thinking about it. Don't wait till the last minute to put your proposals in.
Get them in by November.
Yes.
Just to be safe.
That'd be great.
We encourage you to get them in November. If there's a problem and it's tabled, we can deal with it in January. But January is it. So please don't wait till the last minute.
We also have September and October. I mean, we have lots of options.
I would say if you're gonna do a major overhaul in your department, to actually start having those conversations now, so that you can submit in September and October.
We worked with 2 departments this year who did major overhauls. We're
Mhm.
talking, they terminated programs, they combined programs, and we started working with them over the summer.
Mhm.
And they finally got them, was it the November meeting?
Mhm.
November meeting, so they finally got them there to November, so it's a big undertaking, so don't wait till the last minute or think, oh, I can just do this next week, and please don't enter a proposal on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and expect it.
You're not gonna let that go.
No, I'm not. And expect it to be at a department curriculum committee on the Monday after. You're gonna probably get your feelings hurt if you do that, so.
Somebody's on this meeting right now and be like, wait a minute, that was me.
It is, I apologize in advance.
Just slide that a little closer to me so I can make sure I remember all the things. And I'll just kind of piggyback on what Mitzi was saying, though, we're always willing to get in meetings with a big group. You know, if you want to come to our 8 a.m. or have a special time where Mitzi and Paula and myself and Cindy Johnson, we can all talk about your program changes and we can think of through all the things together. We love having those meetings so that we can just help streamline the process for you and try to make sure we're covering all the bases on the front end. So feel free to reach out to one of us and we can set those up. I want to talk a little bit about the various credentials that we offer outside of our programs like undergraduate and graduate programs that people may be interested in. We've had a lot of interest in certificates the past few years, created several new certificates this year and last year. A certificate, as we define it here, that is a program that is THEC approved. It is transcripted, so it will be on the student's official transcript. These are programs that are 3 to 4 courses or 10 to 12 hours of coursework. They're less work than a minor, but more than just completing a single course or 2 courses. So somewhere in the middle. So these go through the regular curriculum committee and process. A difference with the certificates, though, is they're not financial aid eligible. So students can't just do a certificate and receive financial aid. However, depending on how you set up your program, certificates could potentially overlap with required coursework that is financial aid eligible and gain that certificate along the way while they're earning their degree. That's sometimes referred to as a stackable credential. So those are things that you might consider if you're thinking about certificate. How does it work with your existing program? But if you are looking at a certificate that maybe is interdisciplinary, you really need to think about how students can accomplish that coursework if they're not going to receive financial aid to receive it, or if you're going to market it to non-MTSU students, are they able to pay for it? But we have seen more certificates offered recently, and I'm not sure if that's just a recent trend or if we're going to see more offered. I'm not sure.
Tyler, can I ask you a quick question about that?
Yes.
Is that 10 to 12 hours? Is that actual minimums and maximums?
No, we don't set a minimum or maximum. That is our guideline. If you were to submit a certificate that was, 25 hours, we'd probably have the conversation about, is that really a certificate or is that something else? Because now you're reaching major range.
Because I saw the 3 courses, so it could be 9 hours potentially.
I think we
We
have
have a
one that's
couple.
9 hours now,
That's 9 hours now.
Thank you.
but I think anything less than that's really not robust
Enough.
enough for a certificate.
We're telling the world you have some sort of expertise.
Yeah.
And it's hard to think you can get that in 6 credit hours or even 9,
Yeah.
depending on what it is. Yeah.
Another credential that we offer that is not transcripted is a digital badge. This is something we've had for a few years, and this is a nationwide trend, and every school does badging a little bit differently. At MTSU, our badges are more intentional. So with our badges, they meet some sort of need for a student, whether it's for workforce or just furthering their education or showing something they have done that reflects a specific achievement. It's not necessarily on, something they see on the transcript. It's not a minor, but it's something they've done that is significant enough to earn the badge. These are also not financial aid eligible, and they also are not necessarily tied to coursework. What we have not approved in the past, and we do have a faculty and staff committee that looks at these before sending them to the provost for approval. We are looking at if there is coursework involved, is there also a reflective activity to understand why you're receiving the badge? And same if there's not coursework involved. Some of my favorite badges that we've come up with, or the university's come up with, is the Hack MT badge, which is based off students who participate in the 36-hour hacking marathon with computer science, which industry partners come in and evaluate. That's a great example of a badge that's not coursework related. We have a Dean's List badge, which is very popular, and thousands of students receive that and remind me as soon as grading's over, hey, I need my badge. I'm working on it, I'll get there. So we have the Dean's List badge that has actually been referred to by our partner, Parchment, in multiple meetings as being innovative. And then we have a lot of badges that are coursework based. For example, I always forget, it's the Lean Six Sigma badge and our project management badge, which are based in coursework, but also certifications that students are receiving. So a lot of different options. You can look at our website and see what we do offer right now. I think we have about 25 to 30 badges currently approved. So these are really interesting and really growing on campus. And if you want to talk about those, reach out to me.
Have we done a faculty badge yet?
We are talking about a faculty badge now.
Yeah.
We're in the process of that. It is coming up 2-3 weeks from now, priority registration. So this is a really critical part of the process for students to get to that degree. And priority registration starts April 6th for summer and fall. It always starts in April for summer and fall, and it's November for the spring. This is a big time for our current students because they're going to have a chance to get their classes before the literal thousands of freshmen and transfer students that we'll have coming in this summer. So we need to make sure we're encouraging our students to take advantage of priority registration. And one way we can make sure that students are successful, and this is something we've talked about in our curriculum stress tests that we've done recently, is making sure our prerequisites and restrictions are correct. We are currently working on going through those for summer and fall for all the updates. But having prerequisites and restrictions on courses that don't need to be there can hinder a student when they go to register. If they have to stop, they'll get permission to get in a class, go back, and that class might be full. So we want to try to make sure that we're understanding where the gaps are in those and making sure that we are looking at those every single semester so that they can be updated if needed. But priority registration is around the corner, so make sure everybody's on point in your office, ready to go and help students get in the classes they need. And along with registration, just a reminder how critical course scheduling is to make sure that we're ready for that point. Now we're trying to get ready for summer and fall, but we're also about to start spring 2027 scheduling. We start almost a year in advance for all semesters. So departments can have plenty of time to work on their schedule and make sure it's right. This takes careful planning. Again, going back to that word intentional, very intentional when you're building your schedule. Departments should always make sure they're spreading out their classes, not concentrating everything in certain times. We know everybody loves that middle of the day, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday time, but students also have other needs, and we need to make sure that we're not stacking required classes on top of each other. I'm going to put a plug in for waitlists. I think waitlists are a great tool that we offer here for enrollment management. If you aren't using them now, you may consider it because students cannot be on a wait list for a course they're already in. So if you see wait lists, we know there are students trying to get into that class and there is a need that needs to be filled by additional sections or more capacity in existing courses. So if you're not using wait lists, I really do encourage you to consider it. And make sure we're also monitoring your courses, especially once priority registration starts, not only for courses that are at capacity, but also low enrolled courses. If it's not looking like a course is going to make, we want to know that early on so the students can make other plans if we have to cancel that course. We try to have departments cancel courses at least 2 weeks before the semester starts, if not earlier. But late cancellations are always tough for students, tough for faculty to make all those adjustments at the last second. So make sure you have somebody in your department that's really monitoring your total enrollment in courses and making adjustments as needed throughout the semester. And if you weren't able to participate in our curriculum stress test recently, we will have another opportunity soon. I'll send out something on that where we'll just go over the process, not necessarily do a full workshop, so that you can understand how to do one as well and do that in your copious spare time. But I do hope other folks will take advantage and do some stress tests on their curriculum to try to find some of those gaps.
Could you give a brief overview of what that is, what a stress test is?
A stress test in short is using actual course data, recent course data on a hypothetical student situation to see how a student can progress through your curriculum. You're looking for issues in prerequisites and restrictions, course availability, course capacity, to see, hey, if I'm an actual student trying to sign up for classes in an ideal situation and it's not working, how's it going to work out when I'm transferring in 60 hours? Or how's it going to work when I come in with 15 hours of dual enrollment credit? So trying to look and see how we can make our scheduling and our curriculum more flexible for student need.
We're often still creating schedules for students we thought we had 30 years ago, right? The ones who've got no credit, they're coming in with no credit. They have all the time in the world to take the classes. Yeah.
We call that the unicorn. It's rare nowadays to have those students come in that have nothing already. So if you ever have questions or anything about the registration and scheduling process, I'm always happy to talk to you. So feel free to reach out.
All right, are there any questions in the chat? I have another none.
Or from the room?
I'm curious. I see y'all out there. Well, you got your cameras off, so I'm assuming you're around out there. Why are you attending today? Is there anything any of you are particularly working on that you could use some encouragement or advice? Feel free to come off mic, or come on if you want. Hi, Bethany. Bethany says, hi, we have several new grad level programs planned for the new Department of Health Sciences. Oh yeah, that's really exciting. So I don't know if everyone on here knows CVHS has had a realignment and a reorg, and they are getting new departments. They've been reorged into some new departments. So one of the reasons why we did it, Bethany, as you know, is that you could have opportunities to build things out like this. So I'll be excited to hear about those. And Bethany, if you want to set up a meeting with me sometime, when we're less busy, not the end of this semester, I'd be happy to meet with you and talk through those with you and make sure you're getting the support you need as you're building those out, including if you need Hanover reports and those sort of things too. So our friend Jennifer Woodward, I feel like I'm on a podcast right now, says I'm on a college curriculum committee, so I'm here to stay up to date. Thank you. This has been helpful. Oh, thank you, Jennifer, for your service on those committees too. We really rely on our UCC, I would say, really relies on the college committees, and the grad sub council does too. We kind of we hope and trust that things are being taken care of very close to the department and college levels. So when you all do a good job, it helps us.
I think that's why when we get to UCC and graduate council, it's usually a pretty smooth process, because at that point it's gone through so much vetting through the various circles. It's a pretty easy job for the UCC now.
Yeah, I very much agree. And I also think the fact that you all have these twice a week meetings where we're finding issues early on and really in the mode of how do we help you get where you want to be, not no, right? But how do we get you there? And I will say, Tyler and Mincy both have the pleasure of working in my unit. Trey would like to, I know.
It's just a matter of time. I'm talking about how great it is.
I call Trey and Jennifer their cousins because they report to Brian. They're all the family. But they will, Tyler and Mitzi, when we have our one-on-ones, will say to me, Amy, think you might need to get involved in this thing or whatever. So also they're talking to me when they have those meetings to make sure you all get the support you need at higher levels if you need that as well. And then Jane, hi Jane, interested to find out the process and deadline. For which item, Jane? Are you talking about just catalog changes or new degree proposals? So you say the catalog changes, most of those are due in January of every year. Then we do new courses after January. We do those up till April, as long as they're not attached to a new degree program. We can do those up through April. When it comes to new degree programs, this always blows people's minds a little bit. We don't really necessarily follow the same deadlines with the catalog because we can't always do that. There's so many other deadlines we're dealing with the trustees and THEC and SAC-COC that sometimes we have to bend a little on the catalog. So for example, that MS Mechatronic Systems Engineering, you're gonna see that this month at grad council because it wasn't ready by January, and we don't want to wait a whole nother year to be able to offer that degree program when there's so much demand on need for that program now. So we're hoping to actually start it in August. So Jane, thank you to new degree proposal. Thank you so much for session. It's been helpful, especially all the websites. You all are very, very welcome. And we appreciate you showing up. And Angie, hi to you. We haven't heard from you, but I just want to say hi. We heard from everybody else. We appreciate you all being on today. On this Tuesday, Irish morning. We appreciate you.
So Amy, I just have a question for the group and for the recording. I know I'm from College of Liberal Arts, and our Associate Dean of Curriculum, Jeff Gibson, always does a really great job providing department chairs and departments with a calendar, right? So to the question that Jane's kind of hinting at, what is the timeline? And so we think of the UCC as the the ultimate timeline, and then we're working back from there.
Mm-hmm.
But the deadline we need to know before that is the college deadline.
Yes, that's a good point.
And then the department, right, and we've got to get it in front of if it's a new program, we've got to get it in front of our faculty in the department. So our associate deans given guidance from you on is it just Jeff doing a stellar job, or are all associate
I
deans?
think they must have worked with you, right?
I
can
they
answer
worked
that
with
for
Mitzi.
their
I
respective-
can answer some of that anyway. We set the UCC deadlines in early summer, and I email all of the associate deans and let them know at that time. And if you think Jeff does a good job, you should see what College of Media and Entertainment does. I have never seen such a schedule in all my life.
Wow.
So several of them put together these schedules and send them out. But we do send out the dates. We'll meet early with our new UCC chair. We'll meet early. And then graduate council follows our dates. So usually they will schedule the same day that we do and have the same dates. Sub-council, yeah. And then the graduate council, full council.
You better
meets the
hope
next
Jeff
year.
doesn't hear this because he'll
I know,
consider
we're not
this a
one-
challenge.
Jeff does a great job. I was just, when I saw
Yeah.
that one, I've
We have
never
great
seen such a-
associate deans.
Yeah.
Jennifer's great.
Oh my gosh,
Such a
yeah.
complicated schedule that CME had. It was just like, now, I assume that there are other colleges who do that. These are just a couple that I've seen, because I actually use them myself when I'm looking to see. I'm like, all right, guys, we've got, 50 proposals in curriculum. We need to schedule an extra meeting or something. So we try to meet those deadlines as well. So we're always looking at those.
When I'm tracking new degree programs, because it really is a puzzle, because I don't have to wait for all internals before I go external. I couldn't. I mean, like, we would never get these approved, and you'd take years. And I will often contact Mitzi and be like, tell me those dates, because I gotta time this other stuff, with those dates. And so it's a lot. I mean, if you ever hear me present annually to the trustees, you've heard me say this to them. I think the best example of shared governance at any institution should be curriculum and P&T. I think those two things should be just stellar examples of shared governance, and I'm very proud that they are at MTSU. But shared governance means you've got lots of people involved, lots of dates.
Another group that follows the UCC schedule is True Blue Core.
Mhm.
They contact me early and set their schedule based on our schedule as well. So we try to spread it out, but we look at lots of dates and times and schedules and stuff.
Because when a new course goes into the True Blue Core, if it is a brand new course on our campus, it's got to get approved by the UCC first before it can even go to True Blue Core. So if you're planning, and we probably should add that to the presentation, because if you're planning on adding a new course to True Blue Core, you've got to add additional months for approvals, because you can't do the January or even April approval. You've got to do it way earlier with UCC, probably by October, I would imagine.
They follow the same deadline. January is their cutoff as well. And I think Trey like if somebody wants to do an online course, it has to exist as a course. Then it becomes, then you can do the approval for the online course, but it has to exist as a course first. And then we move on to that next step.
And there's some new badging. True Blue Corps also reports to me, so I love to be their cheerleader as well. And they have badging now related to the blueprints that are coming out of True Blue
Got
Corps.
one already established and two more that are in progress right now.
So that's pretty exciting as well.
I think one thing that this discussion just reminded me of too, within colleges, not only can there be deadlines, but there could be additional processes too. So if a program's thinking about a new degree or a new set of courses, they may need to have other conversations within their department, but it could be at the college level as well. So
And that is coming from an experienced associate dean who's done a lot of curriculum change.
But I think that's why
Yeah.
it's important for folks to check in with their associate dean to figure that out and to learn, are there other internal processes within college?
I'm really proud of the work we've done at MTSU. I joke about the API being one of my favorite things, but really is. And my team will tell you, I'm always like, is ours clean? Is ours clean? You know? And one of the things we're working on now is we know we had a longer list than we do now, but we know some of our degree programs are over the amount of credit hours we've actually reported to the state. Now we're down to 11. So that's pretty good. Because we've got more than 100 undergraduate degree programs, majors. And so that's something we're working on now. We have the luxury of working on those things because everything else looks so good, you know, and it's the team and it all starts with the faculty, right? I mean, that's the SACS principle that curriculum is done at the faculty level by the discipline experts who are credentialed in the area, right?
Just want to say a word of gratitude, not only for the panel, but for the work that you all do. I know there's a lot of behind the scenes conversations that happen with individual faculty, Mitzi in particular, but everybody does that in the various divisions. So we're grateful for that. And just know that y'all are good resources. For this.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time today. I appreciate all of
Thank
you
you.
for taking the time. I know you've been on the road doing this for different groups, but to get this information out, it helps everybody be better informed and to help faculty really plan ahead.
We're glad people are interested, and I just want to reiterate what Tyler said. We will, and I'm gonna volunteer your cousin down here too. We will come to your department.
Yes,
We will meet
yes.
with an individual. We will come to a retreat. You can have one or all of us. I mean, it's just, but probably not until after.
Yeah, once
We gotta get
through
catalogs.
yeah.
I get the catalog published, and we gotta get through graduation and into term processing for Tyler's team. But June on,
Yeah, we're
happy
good.
to come see you. Yeah.
Good. So to remind folks that are on Zoom, this will be shared, the link will be shared so that you can go back and rewatch or share it with your colleagues. This is the third in a series of 4. The prior 2 sessions were, one was on just an overview and considerations when thinking about new programs. The second was on aligning with assessment and accreditation. And then the final session will be on new courses, and Mitzi Brandon's going to be back with me and Paula Callahan. And we're going to be talking about just things to think about, not only the paperwork sides, but just all of the pieces to consider when developing new courses. So that will wrap up this series. That session happens April 8th at 9 a.m. So thank you all for participating. We're happy.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.